the second day, late in the afternoon, Jesus walked into the midst of a baptismal in the Jordan River. In the middle of the river stood John, his cousin. John was happy but a little taken aback by Jesus' appearance. John greeted Jesus with an embrace. John held Jesus at arm's length, looking at the strange tan versus sunburned pattern on Jesus' face. The left side was very dark and the right side newly burned. Jesus was at peace. He told John that he was to be baptized. John dunked Jesus below the water. As Jesus reemerged from the water, Jesus raised his arms. Much to everyone's surprise, he blessed everyone present. The last rays of sunlight struck Jesus full in his raised face. This was very dramatic. The afternoon had been overcast off and on. The combination of the blessing that he gave, the tanning pattern, and the rays of light appeared as an aura all around Jesus. Jesus told John that they needed to talk alone. John was very curious. John was very eager to get Jesus away from the surrounding eyes. John knew that many present were spies of the priesthood. When they got some privacy, Jesus shared what he had learned about himself. He told John about his mission, his ordeal, and the vision that he had seen. He explained that his mission would end in his death. However, he explained that death would be to teach about love, not violence. Jesus explained that the reason he did not join the Zealot movement was he was sent as a messenger of a totally different kind of freedom. John saw that Jesus was sincere but did not agree with him. They, out of love and respect, agreed to disagree on this. They shared with each other their respective experiences in the desert ventures. They shared their dreams and visions. They both sensed that the timing both of their ministries was no accident. Both agreed that the one was served by each of them in their own ways. John ended the evening by patting Jesus on the cheek. It was the same kind of brotherly pat that John had done when Jesus was a baby. They both knew that they would die young. John saw a vision when he baptized Jesus. The water was tinged with Jesus' blood. The blood was flowing from his wrists and ankles. There were holes that were plain to see. When the vision ended, the wounds healed. Jesus admitted that there had been pain at the time. It was only when John told him the vision that he did understand how he would die. There was a vision that John had in the desert that he told Jesus. John discounted it as a fever dream because of its content. It was about a child who would be born in the future. This child would be a reconciler and healer of nations. This new child was not named in the vision. The child would be heralded by being born under a star, and the star's name was Friendship. The world would know her by her fruit, and it was a female child was the reason John shrugged it off. John only told Jesus it as a joke. Jesus was not so sure. This made John tease Jesus about how he had gone soft. John said that this was what happened when you pandered to the women in your life. Later, this was one of the 3 things that he told his brother Judas, who would be called Thomas. It was one of the 3 prophecies told Thomas that would have gotten him stoned for blasphemy. The next morning, Jesus started his ministry amidst John's newly baptized. John had not identified Jesus as his cousin. John did not try to dissuade anyone from Jesus' teaching. John saw it as an apples and oranges situation. Anyone who would follow Jesus would be shown to have non-violent tendencies. John did not want people who were not committed to the possibility of dying fighting as a zealot. John felt that it was better to separate the pacifists out early. He wished Jesus well. Jesus was an unrealistic dreamer, not a realist. One of the men who joined Jesus was to be called the Apostle John. This John had a brother with him named James, who would also be named an apostle. Their father's name was Zebedee, whose trade was a fisherman. Jesus named them sons of thunder because of their zealot background as well as their quickness to anger. Before Jesus left John, he sat teaching among a crowd. While he was there, Mary caught up with her wayward son. She told John the Apostle to tell Jesus that his family had come for him. She insisted that he be brought to her. Jesus told John that he would not discontinue his teaching on her account. Jesus said that they may join him if they wished. Jesus said that his commitment was to his students, who were now his kin, his brothers and sisters. Mary held her sharp response, believing that she could talk him out of his foolishness. She would set him back to his duties as head of household. Mary would soon regret her choice of escorts. She had Judas, to be called Thomas, and James, later called the Just, with her. After Thomas and James heard Jesus speak, unfettered by familial restraint, they wanted to know more. They wanted to follow Jesus in his ministry. James escorted Mary back home. James sought Jesus out several times in the next 3 years. He did not stay with Jesus because his young family and the farm needed him. James came to visit when those duties allowed. And though James was never named an apostle, he was part of the inner circle that got explanations of Jesus' parables. James took the principles of Jesus' teachings to heart. Mary was told by her sons not to interfere. Since Thomas stayed with Jesus, Joseph took the lead in Jesus' absence. Mary backed down after seeing with her own eyes the changes in Jesus. His look of resolve was not the same man who had walked away a month earlier. She went home a couple of days later. The one time that Jesus came back to visit Mary embarrassed him. It was a wedding that she had helped to organize. The wine they had ordered was not sufficient. Mary forced the issue of the wine. This was seriously bordering on testing the grace of the one. That and the total lack of respect for his teachings led to his decision never to return. It was also part of the reason for his saying that no prophet would be respected in their own hometowns. He also found such a lack of faith in his healings ruined many healings he tried to do. Jesus honored Mary as his mother as much as he could. His destiny was a different path. The call of the one would always come first.